If after a night of filling your rectum with vodka from a turkey baster, the cops find you changing a flat in the cereal aisle of a Piggly Wiggly and ask how much you've had to drink, and you say, nothing, are you lying? Well, no. Now, if they had been asking, have you been injecting? You'd have to say yes, but they said, have you been drinking? Well, no, absolutely. Yeah, Lord Stanhope, absolutely not. In fact, you all can try to answer these questions. Stand by. The program will begin soon. A WNBA game got stopped in the middle of the game because one of the players lost their wig while they're playing, and they had to run off. And then some fan made fun of the player, and they had to run. And they kicked the fan out for making fun of a player losing the weave. Not a weave, it was a wig. Losing their wig. They had to have a timeout for the wig, a wig emergency. Which I'm like, why the F are you wearing a wig while you're playing basketball? But then yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, a game had to be stopped briefly because someone threw a big old green dildo on the floor. Someone threw a dildo out on the floor, out of the court. They had to stop the game. I don't know if they caught the person who sent the dildo, but the green dildo was on the court, and a good large number of the players had no idea what to do with something of that shape, but that's okay. It happened, and then someone made this t-shirt or this meme, pay us what you owe us, which has a dildo on it. So that was... Hey, you know what the really good interrupt violence through community-based bystander training? Yeah, if the bystanders beat the fuck out of someone who's attacking somebody else, that would be great bystander training. They could send them to the MMA gym, put them in an arm bar, smack them in the face a few times. Stop doing that bullshit. That would be the best community-based bystander training, but I don't think that's what he means. Anyway. And then the other one, they'll go back all the way to Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof's the other one, which, does anyone, okay, let me ask you something. A lot of you are right-leaning or on the right. Is there anybody in this, anyone you know of? Is there anyone that you know of on the right who supports or supported Dylan Roof? Because I know everyone I can think of who's like, Dylan Roof, fuck that guy. He went out and murdered people in a church. Fuck that guy. But the left is like, oh, he was a right-wing extremist. Nah, he's a fucking asshole. Fuck that guy. Yeah, fuck Dylan Roof. Nobody gives a shit about Dylan Roof. Nobody claims him. Nobody wants him. He's an asshole. Okay? He's a little punk bitch asshole who killed a bunch of people in a church. Stand by. The program will begin soon. Reverend Robin Bartlett of First Church of Sterling, Massachusetts, uses John 1:14 in the Bible to justify why she brings her 11-year-old son to drag shows. This is what we're getting in the Rainbow Church. The Rainbow Church aren't exactly hiding it. That's true. The Word became flesh and lived among us, and my body, your body, their bodies are home for the living God. That is why I take my 11-year-old boy to drag shows in the summer with my friend and fellow church leaders, Kate, and her 11-year-old boy. Especially if you're a man, bodies can be celebrated and played with. That's her message. What the fuck? California wants to let someone that is not related to your child remove her from school, him or her, enroll her in any other school in the state, authorize any medical treatment, including mental health services and drugs, without the parent's notice and knowledge or consent. Can you see what that might be a problem? This is not fear-mongering. I'm not being hyperbolic. She warned these are unintended consequences, and it is terrifying. They are unconscionable or unavoidable. So that's one really bad California law that they're going to do. I can't believe. I'm just dumbfounded that they're doing. Now this is interesting. That new mayor candidate, the leading Democratic mayor candidate for New York City mayor, Damme, wants cops to stop responding to attacks on Jews. And by the way, Jews in the New York City are victims of the majority of hate crimes. Not a plurality, but the majority of hate crimes against people in New York are against Jewish people. And especially religious hate crimes. Anyway, 345 hate crimes in New York City last year, more than all other minority groups combined, according to New York Police Department data. And Jewish crimes accounted for 54% of the 641 total hate crimes reported to police in the city in 2024. Since the beginning of the year, 60% of the 123 reported hate crimes have targeted Jews, according to the New York Police Department. Well, Zohran Mamdani, the radical Islamist and leftist terror supporter, has proposed that the New York Police Department not respond to hate crimes, instead that they be handled by social workers. Either this shifts resources away from responding to attacks on Jews and moves away from having law enforcement deal with those attacks, and instead has his political leftist allies deal with them by burying them. Every day on my show, if I put something on the screen, or I'm talking about it, or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about, and even more, the ones I didn't even get to. I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only PDawg Knight.
My. What's up? Good morning. Oh, where the hell am I? What the hell happened there? And what is that noise? What the hell? Oh, where's that noise coming from? Oh, that's from my phone. Hey, how you doing? I'm not here, I guess. Where's my camera? What the fuck's going on? Hang on a second. This is weird. I've never had this one happen before. So anyway, technological genius that I am, welcome to Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawg Knight on the internet, even though you can't see me yet. And welcome to the PDawg Knight Channel, where I am invisible. I'm unstoppable. Well, there I am. Let's try this again. Did I show up? There I am. Hey. Or was I there before? I don't know. That was weird. I've never had that happen before. Anyway, how you doing? Happy Thursday. It's this is weird, man. I don't know how that happened. I hope you're having a good morning, better than I am so far. because this is just this is a pain in my butthole. But I'm ready for the show. There's that went out. Turn the lights up. Turn the lights back up. And there we go. That didn't work either. So I noticed that my governor is trending this morning, and I went to click on it. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. There's some weird stuff going on in my state, the state of Minnesota. And I just want to tell you that if you live in the United States and you are a voter or even a non-voter, whether friend or foe or whatever, we dodged the bullet by even having my governor anywhere near the halls of the national federal government, because holy snikes, this guy's just he's a piece of work. And so we're gonna use that thread. It's appropriate because it's FTG Thursday. And if you want, you can go ahead and get one of those out right now. In fact, watch this. FTG Tim Walz. The song that I don't know if he was John Cougar or John Cougar Mellencamp when he did this song, but you know the song, when the walls come tumbling down and the walls come tumbling. I was praying that would be I know, granted, what do you call it when you have two words that sound the same but they're two different words? Is it not a synonym, it's not a palindrome. You know what I'm talking about. There's some name for that. So homonym, is that what it is? It's a homonym, I believe. Yeah. Two words that are completely different, even though they sound the same. And I was thinking we could only hope for the walls to come tumbling down. By the way, I'm going to have a link to Ms. Wildwolf's channel at the end in the links today, because she sent me a link. I missed it. I saw that you sent me a link to the show, and I had it on, but I was setting up my show, and I had no idea what you're talking about. You were talking about something that happened in 2021 or something. I don't know. But yeah, I was there. I just didn't type anything. So let's say hi to everybody and get this show going, though, because I'm talking about everything else but my show, what I'm supposed to be doing. So, but speaking of the family, the Wild Wolf family, first in the chat today is young Miss Midnight. Oh my goodness. Congratulations for being the diligent one and being here first. And then right behind her mom, Miss Wild Wolf, right after it. So there you go. Also, good morning to Mike Savage, Blarg, Blue Eyed Scream. By the way, I'm going to stop for a second. Has anyone heard from Avocado Stab lately? If you've seen him in another stream or whatever, I just want to make sure he's all right. I always get worried when people just kind of pop out for a while. And if it's just because he's not watching the show, that's cool too. But I just want to make sure he's doing okay. Also, good morning to Jesse Leon making an appearance. Almost Friday. Someone called it Friday. Oh, I'll show you in the notifications. Anyway, also, let's see, I said Blue Eyed Screen. Grey Badger Outdoors is here. Good morning, Johnny Boomer Tech on the board over there. Somnumbled Nation, what's up? Desert Tramp, nice to have you make an appearance today. Also, good morning, Attack Alpaca. Am I missing anybody? Willie is back. Nice to have you here. Also, Lord Stanhope, TC's in the house. I'm scrolling. I said Lord Stanhope, right? And it looks like just about everybody who's here so far. We've got how many people here right now? I don't know, because I'm not looking at here. 16 people. I don't know what the like ratio is. 6 likes? Oh, come on, people. Come on. Don't all be Avocado Diablo in that, as far as that goes. So anyway, one of these days. No, I know you're here when you can be. I appreciate when you're here. I'm glad, and when you're not here, it's okay. I know that everyone has different schedules, everything's different shit going on. I am cool with that. Okay. I put the walls tumbling down. That's funny. Did I put that in the name in the stream though? Or did I say tumbling down? I said tumbling down. I meant dumbling down, because kind of a pun on tumbling down and dumbling down. Can I edit that still? Can I edit this still? I want to edit the post. Oh crap. How long? I thought you got an hour to edit post on X, the app formerly known as Twitter. That really bums me out. I wanted to edit that to say dumbling down. That's too bad. Anyway, he's dumbling down as always. Oh, the Pope's here. Pope Tyrannus III. Oh my gosh. With the days. Message of hope. Yes, Pope Tyrannus III, the Blessed Lich. Purveyor of the Holy Ghost messages, blessings of the Holy Ghost. I would ask, here's the message. Blessings of the Holy Ghost. I was asked, would I want to spend 10 minutes with 10 saints or 10 sinners? I laughed, as the only difference in the two, one has more letters than the other. Whoa. That's deep. That's deep. Damn. So anyway, thank you, Tyre, the Pope of the Blessed Lich. There we go. All right. Wait, no, I have time. I have big time fear of the dark because we live by a cemetery, so we have demons in our house. And my dad made me go to the pitch black basement, and I seen demons. Wish I didn't. Oh, good Lord. I'm just reading what's going on here. Damn, Midnight. But wait a minute. You're afraid of the dark, but you chose midnight as your what do you call it? Your handle. You chose midnight as your handle? There's got to be something to that. Anyway, thanks everybody for sharing the stream who has so far. Oh, someone else did too. I haven't done that yet. Did I do that? No, I haven't. Okay, let's thank the people who shared the stream now, because that's what I do every day. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to do this, but I'm going to as often as I can. So, oh, that's yesterday's. Oh, I missed this one yesterday. Here's from yesterday. Rancho in Puerto Rico put a Godzilla up because I put a Godzilla up. He's just like, bam, snap. He catches it right away. Okay. Thank you, TC, sharing the stream. That was yesterday's. How about Ms. Wildwolf? There we go. Ms. Wildwolf sharing today's stream. Also, and threw out the little cute cat in the sunglasses picture saying, I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready to fall in. Who remembers that song? Who sang that song? I know. Well, I know the guy who was on that song. Who knows the two singers who sang that song? I think I know who the second one was, but I'm not 100% sure. If you know that song, tell me in the chat who sang it. Also, let's see. Somnable Nation, thank you for sharing the stream and dropped up. It's Friday Junior. That's funny. That's what I meant by Friday Junior or Friday Light, whatever. Today's Friday Junior, aka Thursday. Green Badger Outdoors with the Let's Go, with a quote from George Washington. Now, we don't know if these quotes are real, but it sounds good. Be courteous to all, but intimate with a few, and let those few be well tried before you give them your confidence. True friendship is a plant of slow growth and must undergo and withstand the shocks of adversity before it is entitled to appellation. So that's a pretty nice saying there. Also, Tyre Alexander and Green Badger Outdoors and Somnable Nation retweeted my post. Thank you. And the Daily Woo! Ric Flair from Tyre Alexander. Very good. And also TC sharing the stream. Awesome. And Infinite. I don't know who Infinite is, but they liked the post. And then there was this, what was this other thing I saw over here that was kind of unrelated? Let's see. Someone says, someone getting a good deal on steaks. Yeah, someone was on X, put up a 4 gigantic ribeye steaks, all over £1 each in a package. And it was like $102. And they're like, this happens in the Trump era, right? Not mentioning that it was 5.22 pounds of prime ribeye. Prime ribeye is a lot more expensive than just your regular cut of ribeye, right? So not only was it prime, but I remember about a year ago, I was looking at a package exactly like that. And I remember I was like, damn, it was like $20 a pound, and it was over $100 for the one package of 4 gigantic ribeye steaks. And I was like, oh, that's because I'm looking at Prime. I'm going to go buy the cheaper ribeye steaks, which are pretty damn good themselves. So anyway, I was like, oh God, did you not notice that this was Prime, and Prime meat is more expensive than Choice? There's Choice and there's Prime. I know there's a higher grade. Well, I suppose Wagyu would be a higher grade. That'd be really expensive. But anyway, people bitching about Trump and inflation when the major hit of inflation happened 2 years ago. And that's why prices are so high now. And some things are even cheaper right now. I got gas. I told you this already on Friday, or was that Friday? I got gas for $2.69 a gallon, which is great here, but it still never went above $3 this summer, which is the first summer in years it hasn't gone above $3 a gallon in the summer. And now it's dropping again because things going on. Terry DeSario and KC. Yeah, KC from KC and the Sunshine Band, and Terry DeSario sang that song. I think it was called I'm Ready. Yes, I'm Ready. Originally by Barbara Mason, but you looked like you were singing the duet. I was. Thank you, Sound Humble Nation. You are just a plethora of information today. Thank you. I don't know if I used the word plethora correctly, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, thank you for letting me know. Wait, what's it? I just got 2 T-bones thick cut for $15. Holy shit. They must have been Choice, but even though. Yeah, so anyway, I was just kind of complaining about that, people bitching about the $20 a pound prime ribeye steaks. So, and look, beef's expensive this year also because there was some drought. There's kind of a dearth of cattle this year. There's not as many cattle this year because there was a drought, and so that's why beef prices are up. But not because the other part too. They said because of the tariffs, the beef prices were that high. A vast majority of the beef we get in the United States comes from the United States. There's no tariffs on it. So whatever. All right, let's go here. You don't have to do this. You don't ever have to super chat, Ms. Wild Wolf. Ever. If you want to and can, great, but you never have to. I try to pay attention to the chat too. All right. Let's see. What's this down here? Oh, you guys are having a conversation. All right, let's get into the news because I've got to get through this. Oh, I didn't do any holidays today. Well, here we go. Holiday calendar. We'll pop that over here right now. All right, holidays today. Oh, the first one. Oh my gosh, I am. You're going to understand why I did that. You're going to understand why I laughed out loud. It's National Slap Your Annoying Coworker Day. Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, National Slap Your Annoying Coworker Day. Oh, if I could only do that. I have this one coworker who's so fucking annoying. But I can't say that. I shouldn't even have said that out loud. Who knows if they ever find this and go, well, they wouldn't know I was talking about them anyway. Anyway, it's National Slap Your Annoying Coworker Day. Also National Crock Day. Well, you knew the makers of crock would come up with some bullshit like that. National Boston Cream Pie Day. Who loves them a good Boston cream pie? It's also National Mole Day. Now, I thought, wait a minute. Celebrate National Mole Day with us and explore the world of chemistry. What? Wait a minute. What does that mean? National Mole Day. What the hell does that have to do with chemistry? Oh, it's the unofficial holiday celebrated among chemists, chemistry students, and chemistry enthusiasts in commemoration of the Avogadro constant. Okay, so National Mole Day. Here it is. It is an unofficial holiday celebrated annually on October 23rd from 6:02 a.m. to 6:02 p.m. The date and time are chosen to reflect Avogadro's number, approximately 6:02 times 10 to the 23rd power, which defines the number of particles, atoms or molecules, in 1 mole of a substance. Okay, it's a science thing. Got it. The number of a fundamental unit in chemistry. This number is named after Italian scientist Amedeo Avogadro, whose work laid the foundation for the concept of the mole. Okay, I was thinking like, the little burrowing, nasty little animals, but no, this is the chemistry mole, which is a unit. The day was established by a retired high school chemistry teacher, Maurice Oler, who founded the National Mole Day Foundation. There's a National Mole Day Foundation? Damn. In 1991, inspired by the article written by educator Margaret Christoph in 1885, the National Mole Day Foundation promotes interest in chemistry through educational resources, annual themes, and activities for students and teachers. So this is it's cooler than I thought it would be. I was thinking just who cares about the dirty little animals, but this is actually kind of cool. So yeah, National Mole Day. We'll put that in the links over here too. I don't know if you use Brave browsers, but it'll be close enough. Also, TV Talk Show Host Day. Fuck. There's not too many TV talk show hosts that I give a shit about anymore. And that includes ones on the right too. I just don't do it. I don't watch Fox News. I don't watch CNN. No, but they don't do talk shows. I'm thinking about, what's the talk show? Like Johnny Carson, that was a great talk show. Johnny was not political. He was funny as hell. He'd have funny celebrities on. He'd have cool stuff going on. Anyway, National Paralegal Day. If you are a paralegal or know a paralegal, tell them, hey, thank you for whatever it is you do. I've never understood it that much. Sukkot is still going on, and Geelong Cup Day. Gear up for the Geelong Cup Day. Experience the high fashion, thrilling horse races, and festive entertainment in one place. One spectacular event, which I have no idea what the fuck that is. All right, let's get out of that. Enough about that. All right, let's talk about things that are happening now. There's a big scandal. Now, this is not a sports show, but one of the biggest stories of the day is in the world of sports. How about that? And it's regarding the NBA, and it's not about games, or at least not the game of basketball, but it's about the game of poker. Now, this is crazy. And also Chauncey Billups he's a coach at, he used to be a player for Detroit, but now he's a coach. Why is my watch keep buzzing? Oh, I'm just getting notifications for other shit. So the FBI has, 31 people have been arrested, including Chauncey Billups, who is the coach of the Portland Trailblazers. Portland coach Trailblazer head coach Chauncey Billups has been charged in an illegal poker operation tied to the mafia, according to law enforcement and ABC News. So here's the ABC News. Here, I'll put the ABC News article up here. Portland Trailblazer coach Chauncey Billups charged in an illegal poker operation tied to the mafia. He and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier is among several people charged in separate but related illegal gambling cases, authorities announced on Thursday. Billups, in his 5th season as head coach, was arrested in Oregon, where he's expected to make an initial court appearance on Thursday. That would be today. Poker games were allegedly rigged in favor of those running the games, using advanced technology such as rigged shuffling machines and even X-ray technology to read cards facing down on the table, according to U.S. Attorney Joseph Nocella Jr. They were cheating! Not just illegal poker games, but they were cheating! He's a cheater! Oh my God! Christopher Raya, assistant director in charge of the FBI's New York field office, called it a massive nationwide takedown of 34 defendants in connection with 2 separate sports betting and illegal poker schemes. Among the defendants are current and former NBA coaches, players, as well as 13 mafia members, according and associates. Billups coached the Trailblazers in their season opener Wednesday night, a loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yeah, baby! Billups, also a Hall of Fame player, mostly for the Detroit Pistons before retiring in 2014. He was a 5-time All-Star in his 17 years. And then Rozier, former Cleveland Cavalier player and assistant coach Damon Jones were charged in separate cases, authorities announced. They allegedly passed inside information to four co-defendants who are accused of passing the information to a network of sports bettors. Those bettors allegedly placed wagers with online sports books or retail betting outlets which prohibit betting based on non-public information. So, holy moly, hello Puffer Smiles, by the way. Damn, there's more, but that's something. So that's like rocking the Twitter world today, or X world, or whatever you want to call it, with topics like Chauncey trending, poker trending, NBA Rico trending, and what was the fourth one I had here? Oh, and Pete Rose, because everyone's like, every time some of these gambling things come up, everyone's like, why isn't Pete Rose in the Baseball Hall of Fame again? What? I don't remember. Which still to me is a travesty. Did they ever make it okay for Pete Rose to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame? Now, the difference, like with Shoeless Joe Jackson, was he was betting on his team and they were going to throw the game, even though Shoeless Joe Jackson had an amazing series for the famous Black Sox scandal, because he changed his mind and just played his ass off. But he was part of the scandal. Hello, non 1, 2, 3. So anyway, FTG Author Connect. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. What does Author Connect mean? Oh, autocorrect. I'm reading. I'm like, what the fuck is Author Correct? That's autocorrect. Oh gosh, it hit you twice. Anyway, oh, Louis is in the house. What up, Louis? Nice to have you here too. I hope you don't mind that I say Louis, even though it's Louis. Does it bother you to be called Louis? If it does, let me know and I will stop doing it. Okay, so that was the big thing. That was the big thing the biggest thing on X today. Trending number one was the whole poker thing. Other things happening though. Let's see, in the news, in Minnesota, which I'm going to talk more about Minnesota later. The Minnesota Supreme Court, whose 7 justices were all appointed by Democrats, decided that men should be allowed to play in women's sports, and that inclusion is more important than genetics. The ruling is repulsive, okay, this is someone's opinion, which I agree with. The ruling is repulsive, anti-female, and simply insane. Tim Walz and the Minnesota Democrats continue to push an extreme, out-of-touch agenda that ignores women's and girls' safety and fairness in female sports. Here, let me go to the actual article, though. So, this is because of a powerlifting competition. Minnesota Supreme Court rules ban of trans powerlifter from women's events was discrimination. And it's a unanimous decision involving athlete J.C. Cooper, who sued USA Powerlifting over women's division exclusion. Now, this is not her. What's the name? I'm not even going to give this asshole a pronoun. J.C. Cooper. That is not J.C. Cooper. The Minnesota Supreme Court ruled that USA Powerlifting discriminated against a biological male transgender athlete by not allowing that athlete into a women's competition in 2018. The court's decision was unanimous. 5 of the 7 Minnesota Supreme Court justices were appointed by Democratic Governor Tim Walz. And the walls come tumbling down. And the other 2 were appointed by former Democratic Governor Mark Dayton. Trans athlete J.C. Cooper sued USA Powerlifting in 2021, alleging the organization engaged in discriminatory practices after rejecting an athlete's application to compete in the women's division in 2018, arguing it violated the Minnesota Human Rights Act. Well, you know what? Maybe this should go to the real Supreme Court to overrule the Minnesota Supreme Court. Who knows? It's a Minnesota law, but it doesn't mean. Anyway, the court's ruling said USA Powerlifting policy at the time of the decision was to categorically exclude transgender women from competing in the women's division. Right! And they should! There's reason to do it. This court they have no business doing this. They can determine who's eligible for their competition. There's no rule that you have to be able to compete in something. They have their criteria. Quote, because USA Powerlifting facially discriminatory policy provides direct evidence of discriminatory motive, there is no genuine issue of material fact as to whether Cooper's transgender status actually motivated USA Powerlifting decision to prohibit Cooper from competing. We therefore reverse the part of the Courts of Appeals decision on this issue, Chief Justice Natalie Hudson wrote on Wednesday. This is insane. And here's the thing. Supreme Court justices in the state of Minnesota, while they are appointed, I think they can be removed through elections. I can't remember. I know we have to vote on them all the time, so I don't know. Anyway, we agreed that with Cooper that USA Powerlifting's policy is discriminatory on its face. There is therefore no genuine dispute that USA Powerlifting discriminated against Cooper because of her transgender status. However, the ruling also sent part of the case back to a lower court to determine whether USA Powerlifting has a legitimate business purpose for excluding the trans athlete, which they do. So this is going to be interesting. So part of it got sent back. Look, if they have a legitimate business purpose to discriminate, then what's the point of this ruling? What's the point of the ruling? Oh my God. Well, we'll see what happens there. But this just tells me that y'all are nuts. Nuts. You should have been around yesterday for National Nut Day because you're a bunch of nuts. Every girl should sit out of every sport. Either that or someone should organize a bunch of boys to call themselves girls and form a basketball team at some high school and destroy every other team in the state tournament. I mean, it's just, this is crazy. So USA Powerlifting has argued that allowing transgender women to compete in the women's division would put other women at a disadvantage. Duh. Our goal at USAPL, which is USA Powerlifting, is to create rules and a framework that uphold the principles of fair play, not to exclude anyone. To support trans athletes, USAPL created an open MX division. Is that like a pronoun division? In 2021 to serve all gender identities, including transgender and non-binary members. The organization welcomes trans referees in all competitions, open or otherwise. So they made a division specifically for people who are just have to be special. People have to be extra special, get their own division, their own special division. Quote, since science shows those who were born biologically male have a profound physical advantage over female-born athletes, our responsibility is to define legitimate categories to fairly place athletes within them. This should be a no fucking brainer. I'm just saying. Attorneys for USA Powerlifting called Wednesday's decision a partial victory for both sides per the independent. Yeah, they really did. They split the baby and kicked it down the road. That's exactly what the Minnesota. So it's discrimination, but they might have a legitimate reason for discrimination. Make it make sense. Well, it does make sense because they just the MX division is for the mediocre males to dominate. Well, not necessarily. If they're that mediocre, they might get beat by some. Well, no, because transgender men, trans-identifying women, they think they're men, can take all kinds of steroids and shit and have the hormones and whatnot. So sometimes those transgender who for at least a period of time can build a lot of muscle and be very strong. So it's going to be very interesting because I don't know. Well, this is not the whole thing is nuts. So there's a little more of the story, but you can read that on your own. So there you go. There's that. Also in the news, Michael Wolff, that asshole who makes up stories about people and then writes books. He's one of the most he's a lying bastard. He makes up bullshit and puts them in the book. Can't factually support anything he writes about people, especially when it comes to Trump. He hates Trump. Well, apparently he's decided to sue Melania Trump. He's decided to sue Melania Trump because apparently Melania Trump threatened to sue him for $1 billion over her claims about her and Epstein. So because she threatened to sue him, he's filed for a declaratory judgment, which allows him to ask her and Trump about Epstein under oath. This is interesting. So Michael Wolff asked on NBC about the factual errors in his Trump book. His actual response was, if it makes sense to you, if it strikes a chord, it rings true, it is true. Katie Shurd responded, I read it and a lot of it did feel true. This is an example of Michael Wolff and his how true his stories are. Here's his answer.
You have tapes. Are you going to release the tapes?
No, I'm going to do, I have what every journalist, I work like every journalist. I have tapes, I have notes.
You lie.
People are questioning it. Why not produce the evidence?
Because he's lying.
Because that's not I'm not in your business. My evidence is the book. Read the book. If it makes sense to you, if it strikes a chord, if it rings true, it is true.
Don't ask him for evidence.
And I read it. A lot of the stuff did feel true. There were a lot of
the stuff. Notice she said a lot of the stuff.
Factual errors as well. We're living in a time with this president where everybody's.
But let's go factual errors. You get pinned on.
You have tapes.
Oh no! Don't ask me about factual errors. Anyway, so here it is. He is suing Melania Trump. This says this person, Michael Wolff, was suing Melania Trump. I was in a meeting with him when he acknowledged his book about Donald Trump, Fire and Fury, was only about 70% accurate. It was true that his sources told him the stuff he wrote. He just doubted a lot of what they told him was true. That's how true Mike Wolff is. Good morning, Selected Boy.
Yeah, boy.
So I'm not. Here it is. I guess all the lefty influencers are writing about this because here's the Midas touch. Journalist Michael Wolff has filed a lawsuit against Melania Trump in New York seeking a declaratory judgment and damages for defamation. He's striking back after Melania allegedly threatened to sue him for $1 billion over comments he made about Trump's and Jeffrey Epstein. His claim is that Jeffrey Epstein had his way with Melania Trump. That's what his claim was. And Melania Trump's like, fuck you. And so she threatened to sue him. And so now he's suing her. I bet this gets thrown out. What is threatening to sue you? Defamation? He says, I think nothing better than to get Donald Trump and Melania Trump under oath in front of a court reporter and actually find out all the details of their relationship with Epstein. It's an interesting tactic, and the lefties are all aflutter. Moving on, Ninth Circuit, which I usually refer to as the Ninth Circus. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals on Wednesday declined to rehear Governor Gavin Newsom's challenge, affirming President Donald Trump's authority to deploy the California National Guard for federal immigration operations in sanctuary cities like San Francisco. The ruling reverses a lower court block and aligns with the arrival of over 100 federal immigration agents in the Bay Area targeting undocumented immigrants with criminal records. Newsom vowed to sue if troops enter the city, citing San Francisco's recent 60% homicide drop and overall crime reductions. Okay, well, there you go. That's a victory for Trump. If you want to see the actual decision here, let's see. Is there a summary ahead of this? Let's see. Okay, here it is. Here's the summary. I'll just read the summary here. Judge of this court, Sponte, requested a vote on whether to rehear this case en banc. A vote was taken, and the matter failed to receive a majority of the votes of the non-rescued active judges in favor of en banc consider. Oh, so this is just judging. They already made the decision that he could send National Guard troops in to help with federal agents, and they refused to hear it en banc, meaning the entire court. So it was this panel first, and this is not. This case presents an issue of gravest consequence: the peacetime deployment of military troops in American cities. For the first time in the nearly 250 years of this country, the president claims extraordinary unilateral powers to order state National Guard troops onto the streets of select cities in response to short-term, hyper-localized domestic protests of federal policies. This claimed authority clashes directly with the traditional strong resistance of Americans to military intrusion in civil affairs. The venerable tradition traces the British use of troops immediately preceding the American Revolution to enforce oppressive legal measures, and is reflected in the Declaration of Independence of several provisions of the Constitution. Critically, the authority of the president now claims in the face of that tradition is granted to Congress, not the president, by the Constitution. Well, this sounds like they're going to tell him no, but anyway, in a series of statutes beginning in 1792, Congress has accorded the president limited authority to exercise Congress's constitutional authority to deploy state militias, now the National Guard, including where, as the statute now reads, he is unable to, with regular forces, to execute laws of the United States. Ah, that's the key line. In accord with the court's usual responsibility to interpret statutes and curb assertions of executive power inconsistent with statutory grants of authority, the panel in this case should have considered whether the president was likely to succeed, showing that he complied with the very specific terms of the purely statutory grant of authority when he ordered the California National Guard onto the streets of Los Angeles over the objection of state authorities. Absent judicial insistence on compliance with strict statutory limits on the use of military for domestic purposes, this country could devolve into one of which use of military force displaces the rule of law, principles of federalism, and the federal separation of powers, all fundamental precepts of our democracy, long understood as protecting the liberties of individuals and the assurance of self-governance. But, so disregard everything I just read. The panel could find to addressing the president's deployment authority on an aggressively expedited timeline, for the most part, deferred to the president's own determination of the legality of his actions. It held that courts cannot review the president's determination that the statutory preconditions for calling out the National Guard have been met as long as his determination reflects a colorable assessment of the facts and law within a range of honest judgment. In doing so, it invited presidents now and in the future to deploy military troops in response to the kinds of commonplace short-lived domestic disturbances whose containment conventionally falls to the local and federal enforcement units. Like, for example, when Barack Obama sent 2,000 troops to the border on the American side of the border to help with immigration enforcement. Anyone remember that? I do. The framers gave the police power to the states to guarantee that the facets of governing that touches citizens' daily lives are normally administered by smaller governments closer to the governed to protect the liberty of individuals from arbitrary power. Such essential protection should not be discarded, even in the short term, here by lifting an injunction against the improper federalization of deployment of state National Guard troops. The panel's order, as it currently exists, states legal principles, fundamentally erroneous in my view. Oh, this is the writer, but that are binding on courts in this circuit, which have already begun to confront additional appointments of National Guard troops by the president, invoking the same statute at issue here, and may influence courts across the country. See memorandum of law in support of the plaintiff's motion for temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction. The panel may have an opportunity to revisit the preliminary stance on the deference due the president. So they're giving the president deference with the benefit of greater time and more extensive briefing when it addresses the merits of the presidential appeal. I certainly hope that it can and will do so, and that if it does not, the court will agree en banc to review at that juncture. But given the recent ongoing rash of deployments of National Guard troops to city streets in response to localized protest, based on unsupported assertions about crime and they're saying without evidence, he says. This court should have addressed the legal principles governing such deployments now, not later. Well, they're not going to. So they're not going to. So anyway, so that's a legal victory for the Trump administration. Also in the top news, apparently there was another New York mayor debate in which people are all, well, it's the same one, but they're all flutter about one part of the debate where Mamdani confronted Mario Cuomo. Which Cuomo is this? Andrew Cuomo, not Mario. Mario's the old dead guy. Hello, Justin Wright, by the way. Where he challenged Cuomo on his sexual harassment issues. And, you know, they're fucked either way because they're going to get Mom Donnie or Andrew Cuomo. But this was kind of one of those moments where Andrew Cuomo probably wished he could have crawled in a hole. I'll just play it.
Mr. Cuomo, in 2021, 13 different women who worked in your administration credibly accused you of sexual harassment. Since then, you have spent more than $20 million in taxpayer funds to defend yourself, all while describing these allegations as entirely political. You have even gone so far as to legally go after these women. One of those women, Charlotte Bennett, is here in the audience this evening. You sought to access her private gynecological records. She cannot speak up for herself.
Listen to the, it's in the crowd. Oh, they know he's getting smoked here. FTG Fredo's brother. FTG both these guys, but yeah, Cuomo kind of deserves this.
Because you lodged a defamation case against her. I, however, can speak. What do you say to the 13 women that you sexually harassed?
How hard is that question? And FTG to the crowd too. Fuck them all. They're New York City's fucked. I'm just telling you. What do you say to the people you sexually harass is the question. Holy shit. Now did he get, how much answer does he give here? Or do they even play the answer?
If you want to be in government, then you have to be serious and mature.
Mr. Cuomo.
Okay, is that his answer? I want to hear the answer. Because that's Mom Donnie posting his question. Now notice he didn't post the answer. And also the state here, listen, I mean, I'm going to give Mom Donnie credit for ripping him to shreds. Listen.
On you. Shame on you.
No, it is always a pleasure to hear Andrew Cuomo create his own facts at every debate stage.
Yeah.
We just had a former governor say in his own words that the city has been getting screwed by the state. Who was leading the state? It was you.
Governor Hochul.
You were leading the state for
Governor
10 years,
Hochul.
screwing the city.
No.
You cut homelessness
as a
funding.
legislator.
You cut funding for the MTA.
You as a legislator.
You did all of these things, my friend. That's you.
That's interesting, but yeah, Hochul's been the governor for a while, and he was in the legislature, and now he's saying that the state is screwing them. Got to give to Cursley. He's right that the housing court system is entirely messed up and must be reformed. I still do not want anything to do with you. Oh, that's de Blasio talking to Sliwa. Now, let's not say that Cuomo didn't just lay down and die in this debate. He also gave it back to Mom Donnie.
I understand my friend doesn't really understand government. The governor doesn't build housing in New York City.
Not if it's you.
No, legally, there are jurisdictions. The governor doesn't pick up trash. He doesn't run the fire department. That's what the mayor does. The mayor builds housing. The state allocates funding for localities. And I allocated more funding for housing than any governor in the history of the state of New York. All right? I did things. You have never had a job. You've never accomplished anything. There's no reason to believe you have any merit or qualification for 8.5 million lives. You don't know how to run a government. You don't know how to handle an emergency. And you've literally never proposed a bill on anything that you're not talking about in your campaign. You had the worst attendance record in the assembly. And you gave yourselves the highest raise in the United States of America. You went from $110,000 to $140,000.
Damn, for the legislature?
You never showed up for work, and you missed 80% of the votes. Shame on you. Shame on you.
All right, so he didn't take it sitting down, but still, that having a question about the people who he sexually harassed. Whoo, shit. So they took turns cooking each other, apparently. So there, that's why but that's in the top topics on X today. And then the last one, Time Magazine actually said something nice about Donald Trump. Well, sort of. Here this is the Time cover right now. Time's latest cover called Trump's World, and kind of just making him look like he's in charge, doesn't it? That's wild. And they're featuring the Gaza deal. So this writer, Eric Cordeliza or something like that, wrote an article. Here, I'll put the link here to the article too. How the Gaza deal got done. With actually, I would say a picture of Donald Trump that Donald Trump would appreciate. This looks like he's the boss in charge there, right? And then it goes through all the Gaza deal. Now, obviously, the Gaza deal may not be perfect. Let's just say, I know that like immediately after the deal, there was some Hamas people attacking people, and then Israel struck them and whatever. But the Israelis have stopped whatever they're doing. But I was just, my point here is that they actually had a cover of Donald Trump that was fairly flattering. I mean, for you know how the media treats Donald Trump. And then the last one here, Trump Tower meme ignites a backlash to the House. White House East Wing demolition. Juanita Broderick posted this, which is hilarious. Hilarious. This is what the addition they're going to make to Trump Tower. Oh, you can't even see it because it's not full screen. You got to see full screen to see it. Yeah, she put this meme there. That's what's happening, but you might as well think that's what's happening. The way the people who are crying about it are just losing their damn minds. So. One more here. Oh yeah, I forgot about this one too. By the way, if you want to know who's the reason the government shut down and people might not be getting SNAP benefits and EBT and whatever else the hell that they're not going to get come November 1st, Senate Democrats block GOP funding bill for the 12th time as the shutdown reaches 23 days. U.S. government shutdown entered its 23rd day on October 23rd, with Senate Democrats rejecting a Republican funding bill for the 12th time amid disputes over Obamacare subsidy extensions that Democrats argue are essential to prevent premium hikes for 20 million enrollees. Now, what's interesting about this, these premium hikes that they keep talking about by losing the subsidy, the supposed temporary subsidy they were getting during COVID that Biden put in. I didn't know this. I thought that the people's premiums would go like way beyond what they were before the subsidy, right? No, they're just removing the subsidy. So like people who are paying at this level for so long, right? They're paying at this level, okay? During COVID, Biden came down the subsidy. Now the actual cost is way up here. The government subsidizes it already by thousands of dollars per year. But they're paying here, Biden during his term, subsidy, right? So we've had this subsidy. If this subsidy expires, it's going back to where it was. But Democrat math, you're raising their premiums by 141%. They're paying what they'll be paying what they paid before, even though the cost of the actual premium is going up and up and up because the government subsidized it already. They'll be back right where they were before COVID. But to Democrats, that means that Republicans are raising their premiums. See what I'm saying? I got a video on this. I'll show you in a minute. Anyway, so the Senate Democrats could open the government today if they would just say, hey, you know, we'll do this continuing resolution to keep the government funded while we negotiate all this other shit. That's not what's going on. That's not what's going on. They're holding America hostage. And they know it. And they've admitted it in some cases. So anyway. All right. I want to talk about my governor soon, but first, thank you, TC. First sponsor of the day, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. We're dropping $6 in the tip jar by YouTube, or not YouTube, Streamlabs, which if you click those links in the chat, you can donate to the show. He says today, oh God, you've already, now listen. All right, TC. Here, let me pull up Frederica Wilson. If you don't know who Frederica Wilson is, here, let me do. Oh, I stole the joke. Frederica. This is, there we go. She's the cowboy hat lady. TC says, today I want to take one for the team by sleeping with Frederica Wilson. I'll even take her weave off before I do it. This is, sorry, this TC, the rodent slut. I thought you were the rodent squirrel, the squirrel something. Well, it changes every day. So this is who he's threatening to have sex with for the take one for the team. Frederica Wilson. There's some pictures of her. She's the hat lady. She's always got a cowboy hat on. I don't know why. It's got a weave and a cowboy hat. So she's wearing two hats. Except I think that's her natural hair that she has, what do you call it, straightened or whatever, texturized or whatever. But yeah, he's going to take over the team by sleeping with Fred. You know, you've already, by the way, TC, let me just remind you of something. You've already offered to sleep with Frederica Wilson to take one for the team. You added Frederica, I think it was, you had Nancy Pelosi or Frederica Wilson in one of your posts a long time ago. In fact, if I scroll down, I bet I can find it. Let me see who you asked to take one. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. They're all gone. Okay, they only stay up here for a while. TC, so Jill Biden to save America. There's Jill Biden. And TC, some down here. Let's see. Who else you got? I think that's about as far back as, oh, wait a minute. No, that's Chunky. Take one team sleep. Oh, that's today. Frederica Wilson. Okay. Okay. I can't scroll back far enough. So anyway, you are special. You are special. All right. Oh, here's let's see. Speaking of the Democrat shutdown, it is Democrat shutdown. This is funny because Tim Walz, speaking of Tim Walz, was saying, call your GOP representative in Congress. They need to open the federal government and lower health care costs. That's not going to lower health care costs by opening the federal government. But anyway, John Kennedy says it best. He says, when the budget expired, Republicans voted to extend the current budget while we negotiated a new one. Democrats, on the other hand, say we'll shut down the government unless you give us $1.5 trillion and we'll tell you how to spend it. That's why we're in a shutdown. That's exactly why we're in a shutdown. And we, to use a poker analogy, this person says, I'll use a poker analogy to explain the Schumer shutdown. The Democrats hold a pair of tens, while the Republicans have a full house. Yet the Democrats are raising the pot. Trump and the GOP hold the winning hand on this shutdown, but the Democrats are going all in when they should fold. And that's a pretty good analogy there. I'm saying, hi, Big Dave. What up? Nice to have you drop in. So anyway, let's get to Tim Walz. Oh, this is, wait, I forgot. I have to talk about Kash Patel too. And now look, one of the reasons Kash Patel is trending because they busted this poker ring or whatever. And also another reason is because they celebrated Diwali in the White House. Patel is Hindu, so he said, a real honor celebrating Diwali in the Oval Office with Donald Trump. Thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership and hospitality as always. I thought Donald Trump was a Christian nationalist. What are we doing celebrating Diwali in the White House? But anyway, we did. So anyway, also something about breaking. Kash Patel and Senator Cruz are revealing Nancy Pelosi's involvement in J6. I don't know what that means, but that's not the reason I was going to mention Kash Patel. I just put it there because it reminded me. Did you know that? And I'm gonna have to check this, but I saw someone say this. I'm gonna go check the math, but so just take this with a grain of salt. Did you know that the FBI's 10 most wanted list, okay, during the Biden administration, the 10 most wanted list, of the people on it, they had not caught a single one of them during the Biden administration, during the FBI, Comey and whatever the other dude after that, They didn't catch one person on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list. Did you know that all the people that were on the FBI most wanted list when Kash Patel came into his position as director of the FBI have been caught since then? When did he become director of the FBI? Was that March? Late February, maybe March or whatever. They finally put him in. They've caught all 10. There's a complete new FBI most wanted, top 10 most wanted list. Because now, take it with a grain of salt. It's just something I saw someone say, and I'm going to go check it later. But if that's true, that's pretty amazing. All right, Governor Walz. We're going to scroll down some of this stuff on Governor Walz here for a few minutes and then get out of here. So Walz put out this video. Is there music on it?
You might have received notice that your health.
Yeah, he did. He did use music on this. He put out a video of him playing miniature golf at some place in Minneapolis or whatever. We have a lot of cool indoor miniature golf places around here. Anyway, he made this video of him playing miniature golf, which, you know, I thought you weren't supposed to play golf when you're working as a chief executive. But talking about how Minnesota healthcare premiums will skyrocket 54% for 89,000 Minnesotans if Congress doesn't, you know, if they let the subsidies expire, the temporary subsidies that were put in by Joe Biden. Now, again, this is the level they were. This is with the subsidies that were temporary, and this is the level they'll be when those expire. Now, we should let them expire. They were temporary anyway. The actual cost, way up here, but it's already subsidized so that these are going to stay level. But yes, 59% from the new subsidy that was supposed to be temporary. Now they're going to go back up to the normal, what they were. That's what they're arguing about. And so Walz makes this video to which, first of all, maybe he should call the United States Senators, Klobuchar and Tina Smith from Minnesota, and say, well, maybe if you vote for the continuing resolution, at least the government will be open, right? Because that's what they're holding the government hostage for. Now, other problems Tim Walz has, if we have a major fraud problem in Minnesota, over $1 billion billions of dollars in fraud on the Minnesota taxpayers. And he was being interviewed by one of the TV stations here, and he said he's admitting to there's even more. Now, a lot of this fraud went on, right? Oh, I know nothing in the government's temporary, Lord Stanhope. That's why I never like it when they start new programs, because once you start something, they'll never end it. They'll keep funding it in perpetuity. I know. I hear you there. That's why I'm laughing that these subsidies were temporary, because now people are saying, oh, well, your costs will go up 59%. Oh, you mean the special subsidy you put in that made them drop 59% will make them go up 59%? No shit. It was a temporary subsidy. Anyway, so he was being interviewed by one of the local TV stations talking about all the fraud that's going on in our state, and he said this.
Do you think the worst of the state government fraud cases have been uncovered, or do you have reason to believe there is more to come?
Oh, I think there's more. And look, we've got organized crime ring in Minnesota. I think it's been going on for years.
From feeding
Whoa. Now remember, by the way, the governor and the Attorney General, Keith Ellison, who just filed to be reelected, especially the Attorney General, are intimately involved in these scandalous fraud cases. And the fact that the Attorney General hasn't caught these cases, but it took federal government to find these fraud cases, might tell you something about our Attorney General. By the way, it just happens to be a lot of these cases are from the newly arrived community, of which that dominate the city of Minneapolis from a land far away that starts with an S and has the resemblance, a flag that resembles our Minnesota butthole flag, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, let me...
Future, to autism programs, to housing stabilization. Minnesota taxpayers are victims of more than $1 billion of fraud. Do you think there was not enough skepticism for too long in state agencies that were overseeing
and the Attorney
these
General's
programs?
office?
I think it's an unfortunate situation.
Unfortunate?
But yeah, I think...
Wait a minute. We have a government. Oh, by the way, when Tim Walz entered office in the governor's office in Minnesota, our state had an $18 billion surplus. $18 billion, with a B, surplus. Now we're at a $6 billion deficit under Tim Walz. And the, well, finally it was been an all Democratic legislature. They had the triumvirate here. They had both houses in the legislature. They had the governor and the Supreme Court just locked up. And they went on a spending binge and just a law passing binge on crazy, all this left-wing bullshit. It's incredible. And now we have a $6 billion deficit from an $18 billion surplus. Good morning, Donkey Punch Bandit. That's the greatest name on the internet. Thank you. All right.
You need to be more skeptical now in this world. I think
now
the
we
COVID
need to be more
pandemic
skeptical?
and the releasing of some of the rules, the relaxing of the rules, fostered this.
On feeding our
relaxing the rules, except for people going outside.
Some of it, in retrospect, seems so obvious. Thousands of children supposedly being fed at these sites that were, it just physically wasn't even possible. Was that a big miss by members of your administration who were supposed to be overseeing?
Oh, he's going to say no.
I think in retrospect now, if you have the resources, and I think we do have more of those now, yes, it makes sense to just go out there and see if someone's...
You had an $18 billion deficit before. That seems like plenty of resources. Gov? Oh, wait, you spent it on bullshit?
doing this. Go out there and knock on the door. See if...
All right, so anyway, that's that. There's all. Let's just scroll down because there's several things here that turned out good. Oh, yeah, he said I'd become friends with school shooters. What? Walz pushes back on casting an African American as James Bond. What? What does that mean?
Do you think they'll ever have African American James Bond?
Oh, that's Christoph Waltz. Different. By the way, Keith Ellison, who probably has no idea what Antifa is, except that he was holding the Antifa textbook. Let's see. Oh gosh, that's fake. Okay, hang on. By the way, here is Tim Walz responding to Keith Ellison re-upping his candidacy for Attorney General. He says, I have served alongside my friend Keith Ellison since 2007. He's taken on Big Pharma, Big Tobacco, and Donald Trump and won. No one's tougher or more qualified to keep up the fight for a fair, more affordable Minnesota. Why didn't Keith Ellison go after these fraud cases that have cost the state $1 billion? Oh, wait, because they're done mostly by his friends in that community that I probably shouldn't mention. Like when you, and then he says, like when you served alongside the fighting men and women of the Minnesota National Guard, well, until you cut and ran. Anyway, I don't care about that. Let's see here. Where is it? Oh, and then Tim Walz is friends with men pretending to be women, like the Chris Farley lookalike who was kept out of the weightlifting competition. Oh, and this is a reminder of Tim Walz too, by the way. This is a funny one. Just look at how horrible his National Guard is. Talking about Donald Trump, right? I think, is this Roland Martin? Oh, Roland Gutierrez. Trump's ICE agents shot at a U.S. Marshal, and influencer in a botched raid. Every day this administration sinks to newer lows. Yeah, just look at how horrible his National Guard is, going down the street and harassing and shooting people for the crime of not being inside their doorway. Oh, wait, that was Tim Walz who used the National Guard during COVID. Yeah, remember that? They use the National Guard to keep people in their houses here in Minnesota and Minneapolis.
Oh, there's more. Look at this. They just keep coming.
Go inside! Get inside! Get inside!
This is it. This was in Minneapolis.
Get inside!
They
Get
start.
in the house now! Let's go!
They start shooting rubber bullets at her.
Go inside now! Get in the house!
Or paintballs, gas balls.
Get in, get in, get in, get in, get in, get in. Get in.
Huh.
Are you okay?
Huh.
Are you okay? You got hit?
I'm good. They're fucked for that, dude. What?
Okay.
Gee, that's an interesting way to use National Guard. All right. Let's see here. Here in Minnesota, it seems like the Fraud Center of America. Oh, here's another one about the fraud. This is the same. This is a different report.
Of dollars in taxpayer money out of the country. Lou Ragoose has a look at the brand new
and
chart.
a lot of the money that the fraud money. Hello, Unacceptable Views. What's up? A lot of the fraud money's been going to Somalia, the country I probably should have named.
Charges today.
The 74th person to be charged in the $300 million Feeding Our Future meal fraud case, Ahmed Naji Sheikh, is the brother of one of the most notorious defendants, Abdi Aziz Farah, who was recently sentenced to 28 years in prison. Farah was convicted with a group of others of stealing $50 million of taxpayer money. Now his brother Sheikh is accused of helping him launder that money.
Now, in any normal country, this would cause a major backlash from the native population. But liberals actually want this. This is the greatest form of social justice. And anyone else who dares to speak out against programs getting robbed that are meant to feed hungry children are silenced and called bigots and racist and intolerant. And when you understand the entire game plan, it starts to make sense. Did you guys know that 25% of Somalia's GDP comes from remittance, money being sent from the United States to Somalia? So the strategy is to steal money from the American taxpayer, give Somali residents free housing, free food, free school, free healthcare, give them such a comfortable lifestyle that they can afford to have 4 or 5 children, while the native-born population struggles to have 1, 2 if they're lucky. And then as their population outgrows the native population, they have more political power. And then they can enact legislation that exclusively benefits Somali people. And the money that's not exclusively for them, they can just steal it through fraud. And the more money they get, the more they send back to Somalia, because that is their goal. You heard the guy say it at the Ilhan Omar rally. But speaking of Ilhan Omar, someone who openly hates America and declares her allegiance for a foreign country, here she is going to a church and berating a bunch of white people for liking Charlie Kirk, a man who stood up for America instead of...
I'm going to skip that for now, but you get the point. The 49 defendants on the fraud case where they've defrauded the state of Minnesota for hundreds of millions of dollars, shared that particular quality. And look, and let me just say something real quick. I don't intend to defame all Somali residents in our state. There's some that I work with are awesome dudes, cool guys. But this is that Minneapolis pocket of Somalis that have been just taking advantage of our country in some of the worst ways possible. Now, I did have a couple of quick videos I wanted to post here and play here. One of them is where is it? Oh, regarding the shutdown in particular, I wanted to bring out Turnip Guy because he actually got asked some tough questions on MSNBC, or NBC. Let's see. Here it is. Okay, here it is. Let's see. Let me just pull this new tab here. Oh, I can't do it that way. Doggone it. Okay, well, let's do this. All right, here's Turnip Jeffries on MSNBC.
You say this is a Republican shutdown, but it's Democratic senators who are withholding their votes on what is called a clean resolution. That means no strings attached, which is something, quite frankly, Leader, that you and other Democrats have advocated for in the past. Take a look.
You do not.
This is Democrats in the past, what they've said about government shutdowns. You do not use the threat of
shutting down government to try to advance your policy agenda.
First thing that the House has to do is pass a clean 6-week CR.
Wait for
a
it.
Continuing resolution that is at the fiscal year 2023 levels is the only way forward.
That's what he was saying about a prior continuing resolution, which is exactly what the current continuing resolution is doing, keeping funding at current levels while they negotiate. He was all for that before.
Let me ask you, because you say this is a Republican shutdown.
Okay, anyway, this guy says, we've entered the twilight zone. NBC is openly challenging and refuting Hakeem Jeffries to his face regarding the Democrat shutdown. Do you know how bad you have to screw up as a Democrat senator to have NBC check you on live television? Well, he's a congressman, whatever. I no longer know what the Democrats think they can accomplish at this point by refusing to sign the continuing resolution. Maybe I have a blind spot, but I see nothing to gain if you're a Democratic senator. If they're losing support from MSNBC, imagine how much support they're losing from Americans. The Democrat Party has already hit record low approval ratings. It stands to sink even lower. Democrats are taking a big gamble for the upcoming midterms. Their assumption of widespread victory is certainly in jeopardy, and it's like they're trying to ensure the party fails into obscurity. So I don't have time for the rest of the ones I wanted to do today, but so that's all it's going to be. But hey, maybe I'll have time for some tomorrow on Free for All Friday, because tomorrow I'm just going to dispense with the trending topics, and we're going to just watch some videos and take some questions, because you know how we do. And so that's it, guys. I am going to close this down. Let me get the links out here real quick as soon as I get that off my screen. What the hell was that? What the hell is that? All right. And click that. All right. So I hope you all have a good day. Happy Thursday. Looking forward to Friday. Everybody's working for the weekend. And, you know, the hell. I was singing the Loverboy song. Everybody's working for the weekend. Everybody wants a new romance. Hey, 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 hey. Here come the links in the big chat. There's the links for today's show, plus today's aggregator. By the way, I strongly advise you to go through the aggregator today. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there on Ace of Spades blog, and I'll have that in the description too. Thank you, Alan Thieler. That's a new name. Thank you so much for throwing $5. Good morning, P-Dawg. I didn't even know you were here, Alan. You need to chat more. I appreciate it. That helps immensely, and you have a fantastic fucking weekend. And I must go. So links will be in the description and all that stuff. They're in the chat there if you want to go to them. But again, y'all have a great day. I'll be back for Free for All Friday. Y'all have a... Well, I already said that. So that's it. I'm P-Dawg Knight. I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is P-Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.